So I've just about clicked over the 50-kilometer mark for this shoe, and it is the Freet Vibe 2. And it's a casual shoe, which is actually pretty good on the performance side too. So if you're looking for that do-it-all kind of road and casual shoe, could be a good choice. But first of all, let's get into the fit, the feel, and the durability of this, because we want to know, will it work for you? So if you've seen any of my free reviews before, then you're probably going to be bored of this spiel. So basically, this has a wide toe box, it has a wide midfoot, and it's a pretty deep shoe. Pretty much the same as all the rest of the Freet shoes that I've ever tried. So as you can see up at the top here, it's really nicely squared off around this big toe side. So if you do have that wider splay, it's really good to help actually allow for that wider splay. A midfoot, it's always been the wider midfoots that I've even measured with all the shoes. It's very accommodating around that area, which is great for people like me, that my width isn't really in the forefoot, it's more in the midfoot. And I struggle with some brands, Ultra being one, Viva sometimes as well, and it's just a bit too constricting around that midfoot, and it starts to cause pain in the end. You're not going to have that in these. And then lastly, it's a deep shoe as well. So if you ever find that it's really tight over the top of the foot and you're having to loosen out those laces just to make it feel a little comfortable, then, the Freet Vibe or even any of the Freet options may be for you. This heel, it's deep as well, yes, but it's also nicely structured, which allows for a really good lockdown. This lacing system here, it doesn't have a second eyelet, interestingly, so I don't put a lace lock in this, but I still find it really, really good in terms of a lockdown and a heel lock in there as well. So really, in terms of fit, pretty standard for Freet. But sizing. So I would say go a size up in this. It does run a little bit small. I have true to size here for me, that's EU 42. And it's just a little bit short for me. I do feel my toes on the top of this upper around the toes here. Why I can get away with it, mainly because this toe box is so wide, I can splay quite nicely. I think it would have been better if I did go a size up. It's probably worth noting as well, if you do need that little bit more depth, then you can take out this 4mm insole, but you can run it without the insole in there as well. So it'll get you a little closer to the ground being one, and then also give you more room in the shoe. As for the lacing here, it's hooked through the upper, through these overlays in the upper here. It's also looped through this thinner string material, which looks like it's attached all the way round here, all the way through to the outsole, maybe. Yeah, even the outsole. And I think that's probably what actually adds to the secureness that I feel in this shoe. It's really good in terms of lateral motion. I feel really locked down on that outsole there, so it works pretty well in that aspect. So if you do want to up the tempo in your run, then you're going to feel nice and secure in this shoe. Even if you want to take it to the gym a little bit as well, it will add a little bit of security in there, so when you're doing those lateral movements, then it's still going to feel pretty good. I wouldn't say this is an out and out gym shoe, but if you want that option which maybe crosses between the casual, the running and the gym, this is actually pretty good. So as we're talking about the feel of it, let's get into the rest of the feel. So the standout part of pretty much any Freet shoe is its flexibility. So even though this is a cushion shoe, we'll get to that in a second, it still has a ton of flexibility in there. You can bend it in any which way that you want. And this upper being really flexible along with the outsole, which is interestingly, it's kind of like a waffle outsole. You used to see this kind of design maybe on a Nike Free where they had slits throughout the outsole there just to allow for more flexibility in every which direction. You could also call it maybe a lug design, but a really fat lug at the same time. It does mean that there's a lot of surface area there, so you have a lot of ground contact, meaning durability will be okay, but at the same time it still allows for that flexibility, so pretty good. Stack height. So obviously, zero drop is the same in the heel and the forefoot there. It is at 10.5mm with that insole in, or 6.5mm with it out. I personally run with it in. I find that fit is much better. This insole is actually one of their new rebound insoles, which is just like a real bouncy foam kind of insole, which is good if you like that kind of feel. If you want that firmer, solid underfoot ground feel, then you can switch it out for one of their other standard insoles as well. They do have a range of insoles on the Freet website, ranging from I think 6 millimeters all the way down to 3 millimeters, which is great for fit because you can actually customize the depth for the fit of a Freet shoe. Pretty cool. But also they feel slightly different as well. So it's worth checking out if you do want a different feel out of the shoe. It's a cheap way of doing it, which is good. So at 10.5 millimeters, I wouldn't say it's typically a barefoot shoe in that mid cushioning range between like an Ultra and a true barefoot shoe, which is actually really decent because you still get the benefits of a barefoot shoe being like super flexible and that ground feel. But at the same time, you get a little bit of cushion underfoot. If you are doing those longer distances or maybe you're pushing a little harder, especially during a tempo run or an interval run, I kind of like this stack height, 10 millimeters, pretty good. It's probably worth noting on the outsole here. So it's quite rounded around the heel here. And I've heard other people not enjoy that. And that's probably because they come from more conventional shoes or more stable shoes, which are usually squared off around the outsole in general. Having it squared off basically forces your foot into a specific movement pattern. And this isn't necessarily a bad thing unless you're kind of a die-hard barefoot person, but this is supposed to be rounded to mimic the heel of a foot a little more. So when you're walking, it'll feel like a little bit more of a natural movement pattern. It's hard to say, you just need to try it. I don't mind it. When I'm running, I actually don't hit my heel at all. I'm very much a forefoot runner. It's not a good thing or a bad thing, just saying. So I don't actually feel that, but it's worth noting because you do feel it when you're walking around at least anyway. So the outsole, it's a full rubber outsole, which is great because then it'll have pretty good wear, but at the same time, it does mean it's a little heavier because of that. So it's coming in at 270 grams, I weighed it in at. And that's nowhere near a lightweight option, especially for a lower stack height shoe. But I think for the durability factor that you get on this outsole, having a full rubber outsole, you're willing to pick up a few grams in that shoe to be able to actually get, the life out of it. So what about the durability? I've talked quite a bit about a few different aspects around the durability up to now. So the outsole being the main thing. As I said, this lugged kind of pattern, waffle pattern, whatever you want to call it. Well, it has a lot of surface area underfoot there, so it should wear pretty evenly and slowly, I suppose. I do see a little bit of pilling or wear already. And like I said, I'm at 50 kilometers, which isn't far into the life of the shoe. But because there is so much rubber on this, I can see 3 millimeters in lug already. And then it gets to the actual adjoining part of the rubber. So there's a ton of rubber on this. It's going to take a long time before it actually wears down. So not too concerned there. It's also really nice to see it stitched and glued all the way onto the upper as well. So if the glue does fail, and sometimes it does fail, you've still got the stitching in there just to reinforce it, which is definitely a nice thing, especially if you've had Vivo barefoot shoes in the past, you'll know why that's a good thing. The upper may be a little concern for me. So it is like a mesh material, which is a little thin over the top. There's like an adjoining bit in between, and then it's pretty similar on the inside too. So my only concern with it will be if you actually catch it on anything. If you catch it in one of these holes or loops, it does look like it'll just rip apart. So I don't expect that to happen too much. It's not like it's a trail shoe or anything where you maybe running by bushes or through tall grass or anything like that. But at the same time, it's worth noting if you do end up scuffing it in the gym or something like that. I wouldn't be doing my rope climbs in this or anything. I don't do rope climbs, but I know that some people do. I wouldn't do rope climbs in this. There's a nice amount of overlays coming around the heel here. I don't specifically think this is for a durability aspect. I think it's for structure around the heel just to get that locked down, and it does a good job of that. So yeah, not sure if it does anything with the durability there. And this inner liner, pretty standard really. As long as the fit is okay for you, I don't think you'll be wearing through that heel either. So all in all, pretty good design, very good construction. Just the upper. That's the only thing that, I don't know, we need a little bit more time just to see if it's actually going to hold up. So let's get to some kind of conclusion. So from the outset, when I first got this shoe, I did think it's a true casual shoe. I thought it was just going to be for the everyday kind of thing. Very much proved me wrong when I went for my first few runs, and that's because it was really nice and secure. It still felt great underfoot, being that 10 millimeters and super flexible. I just wanted to pick up my speed in it. So I started doing my interval training in it. I started doing some tempo runs in it, and it felt really good. So it kind of transitioned into a out and out running shoe for me, which I suppose shouldn't be a surprise really, but I think it might be flying under the radar for quite a few people. So coming in at $110, it's a decently priced shoe, especially for the construction as well. So if you have that foot, which is a little deeper and a little wider, especially in the midfoot, and you're looking for an option, maybe it's a running option, maybe it's a gym option, maybe it's even a casual option. I don't think it really matters. It works in many, many situations. I think this could be a really good option for you. And I hope my enthusiasm for this shoe actually comes through because I've had a good time in it and I think it will be decent for quite a lot of people. So give it a try and let me know what you think. Just remember the sizing, it does run a little short.